You just knew that after what the Raptors did to the Boston Celtics in Boston for their home opener, the Celtics could come out today with some vengeance. They didn't have Jaylen Brown in the lineup today. However, they did a great job. They were active on the glass at all times. And going into today's basketball game, the Toronto Raptors lead the NBA in offensive boards. Like, they're the top squad in the NBA, or at least going into today's game. Well, you lost that battle today. And we all know the Raptors' offense is just hit or miss. We don't know what we're going to get. But they just did not have that type of pop today. They didn't have that energy, that fight in the glass even. They just didn't have it today. You know, and offensively, we can talk about it, right? The Raptors, in all our, like, as much as we love the team, they don't have that one guy that you can have in your mind going into any single game and say, this guy's going to drop me 20, 25 points no matter what. You don't have that Kawhi Leonard. DeRozan, as much as playoffs, well, we can talk about all we want. In the regular season, he did that at all times, pretty much. The Raptors just don't have that guy right now. And you lost 104 to 88. Now, the Celtics played an incredible defensive game, but you only scored 88 points. And with the loss, the Raptors have now lost 3 consecutive games. We talked about it. You know, they won 5 in a row. Now they've lost 3 straight. You know, they're 6-6 now on the year. And this was their first road loss of the season. So they were perfect 4-0 going into it. That is over now. And let's break down this game. You know, first quarter, it was just kind of the way the game went, right? Usually you see narratives change throughout the course of a game. The first quarter just kind of, here it is. They scored 33 in the quarter. Raptors only got 25. Defensively, they weren't as active. They were getting a lot of good looks for the Celtics. Raptors only scored 25. You're down 8 after 1 quarter of play. In the second quarter, same type of thing. You allow 29. You only score 21 points. Raptors only score 46 at halftime, whereas the Boston Celtics are, north 60? I believe they were down 16 at halftime. I think it was 62 at 46 it might be, if my math is correct. It usually isn't, but that's my guess. And we wait in the third quarter. We're like, all right, what team are we going to see in the third quarter? Well, defensively, they started to lock in. They only allowed 18 in the third quarter. But again, the offense they didn't give you that much. You only scored 22. Yeah, you're plus 4. But when you're down 16 at halftime on the road, you got to come up with a big-time punch. They did that in Game 1 against the Celtics at TD Garden, right? It was a tight game at halftime. Raptors came out in the third quarter and absolutely demolished them and ran away with it. Now, obviously, you were down by quite a bit this time, but you didn't give that same punch. They didn't have that one guy to step up and get red hot. Scottie was great. He was phenomenal. But it wasn't that, 35, 36-point game where this is the guy that's keeping you in the game. This is the guy that's going to win you this game. We didn't get that today. And in the fourth quarter, minus 4, 24-20. You only scored 20 points in the quarter. You only score, the biggest points total you had in the game in a quarter was 25. The odds of you winning a game that way, very slim. I don't care how good your defense is. You only allowed 104 on the road. It's not bad. But you only scored 88. It's just not going to cut it. Now, offensively, let's talk about it, guys. I've been trying to put off, at least over the last couple of games, Pascal Siakam. I believe this is his second game back, and he has not been sharp. I mean, he looks out of sorts. He only took 7 shots in the game, 8 points, 7 boards, 3 dimes. Shot 3 of 7 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line. Missed the 1-3 that he took him as +2. He had 2 steals in the game. But he didn't really impose himself offensively. You didn't see him get in there and be aggressive and try and make a big-time shot. He didn't force anything. Now, is this still, he's only played 2 games. He hasn't played any regular season games to this point. No preseason games. No training camp. It's going to take him some time, but we're getting at that point where we're like, okay, well, this team needs offense. And this guy's getting paid like a top-notch offensive talent. We kind of want to see it. And in the first couple games, at least, you haven't seen premier Pascal Siakam. Now, let's get to Scottie Barnes, because this was really the only positive in a game where you lose by 16 on the road. Scottie Barnes, with the 21 he scored today, he ties Damon Stoudemire for the most points scored by a Raptors rookie through the first 10 games of a regular season. Wild stuff, and obviously Damon Stoudemire being the first Raptor drafted ever, kind of wild. And the next guy on the list, Vince Carter, at 156. That tells you what Scottie Barnes is doing at the age of 20 years old for the Raptors. I mean, 21 points, 7 boards, 4 dimes, 7 of 11 from the field, 7 of 8 from the free throw line. You could arguably say that his best 2 games have been on the road in Boston at TD Garden, which is crazy because that is such a hostile environment. In fact, that he's going out there and showing us what he can do. It's wild. It is so amazing when Scottie Barnes is pushing the floor and aggressive with his offense. He can do stuff like this. We talked about in the last video how he didn't really impose himself. He didn't really look for his shot. And he had a very underwhelming offensive game. Today, he looked for it and he dropped 21, 7, and 4. So for Scottie, this is what we want to see. We want him to take charge more. Look for your shot more often because he's got a damn good one. Hell of a job for the young fella. 20-year-old kid, Scottie Barnes, doing a thing for the Toronto Raptors. And, of course, he's going to win Rookie of the Year. If he keeps playing at this pace, why not? Now, your veteran guys, though, they didn't really get it done today. Nobody stepped up. Fred VanVleet had 16 points, 3 boards, 6 dimes. We shot 5 of 14 from the field. Was 2 of 2 from the line. Was 4 of 9 from 3. That's great. But again, 5 of 14 from the field is not all that great. 3 steals and a block for Fred VanVleet in the game. I believe it was him. Maybe it was Gary Trent. I wrote down. I don't know. Gary Trent Jr. had 14 points, 4 boards, no dimes. On 6 of 12 shooting, was 2 of 7 from three-point range. And again, defensively, this year at least, Gary Trent has been absolutely electric. OG, 14 points, 5 boards, 4 dimes. So again, really not imposing himself. He shot 6 of 14 from the field, was 2 of 3 from the free throw line, was 0 of 4 from 3, had a steal and a block. So again, none of your, I would say veteran guys because experience, I guess, is the way we want to look at it. I'm not going to say Pascal because, again, he was only played the 2 games. So for Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent, and OG, the top scorer was Fred at 16. And you need guys on the road to give you that punch. That's why this man was so damn good. On the road was when he was at his best. And it was so fascinating to watch. Now, let's get to the team stats. Raptors shot 43% from the field, 24% from three-point range. It's been a story all season long, the inability to shoot the 3 at a consistent pace. It just hasn't been great. 84% from the free throw line. Boston shot 45% from the field, 34% from 3, and 67% from the line. So it's really not all crazy different differentials in those numbers. But the spot where the Raptors really lost this game was on the glass. We talked about it all year long. The energy, the effort you get from the Toronto Raptors every given night, on any given night, is phenomenal. Now tonight, you didn't quite see that. And the numbers that really kind of, I guess the eye-opening numbers that really show you that is this. First off, they were -3 in the glass, which really isn't a big deal. But they were -6 in the offensive boards category. They allowed 12 offensive rebounds, and the Raptors only had 6 offensive boards. You were -6 in that category, where the Raptors have dominated all year long in that sense. And you look at the Raptors' offensive numbers, throughout the league, they're like bottom in pace. Their field goal percentage isn't great. Their three-point percentage ain't great. Their free throw percentage is kind of mediocre. But their offensive rebounds are through the roof. They're number 1. And a game where you don't have that, it's going to come back and haunt you. You were -6 in the offensive glass. You were -6 in the rebounds, and you were -13 in second chance points off of those offensive boards. They made you pay when they got the extra opportunity, and that's what good teams do. All right, even without Jaylen Brown, they made it happen on home court. Now, Raptor fans, the next game for the Toronto Raptors, and it does not get any easier. Tomorrow night, second night of a back-to-back, the Raptors travel to Philly to take on the 76ers. It's a 7 o'clock tip-off there as they look to end this losing streak. They look to find some sort of mojo on the road in Philly. Who's going to be the guy tomorrow? Is Pascal going to break out and drop 35 and be like, there he is. This is the guy we were waiting for. Is OG going to have that type of night? Is Fred? Is Gary Trent? Is Scottie going to continue that push on offense like he did today? Or are you going to get the same type of result as this evening against Boston? We're going to have to wait and see. I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments, though, on everything that I talk about when it comes to the Toronto Raptors. Your thought on Scottie Barnes, everything. Go crazy in the comments, all right? So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and you didn't enjoy the game take, because it wasn't all that pretty to watch, smack the like button to appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys not already. Comment down below. Thoughts on the video, thoughts on the game, what you like, what you not like from today's game for the Toronto Raptors. Twitter link is down below, so follow up there if you have not done so already, guys. Instagram link is also down there, so follow up there if you've not done so already. And I will talk to you guys Leafs edition very shortly as they played a picture-perfect game against Philly in Philly. And it was pretty wild stuff there against the Philadelphia Flyers as the Leafs won it 3-0 on the road, all right? And as for the Toronto Raptors, they look for a much-needed bounce-back W there tomorrow night in Philly, 7 o'clock tip-off there. A question for you guys. Who's going to be that guy tomorrow on the road? They need somebody if they want to beat the Philadelphia 76ers in Philly, all right? So thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll talk to you guys then.